Welcome in, guys. It's your boy, Coach Reed Live. I'm here with my guy, Brandon Clay, one of the most powerful men in all of the basketball world. We got a
Hey,
lot to
I'll
talk
take that.
about tonight. You'll take that, Clay?
I'll take that. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about today. But before we do that, I know you see my 931 Austin Peay hat. I got to give a shout out to head football coach Scotty Walden and my Austin Peay State University Governor football team on going undefeated in conference play with a big win over Central Arkansas this past Saturday. Undefeated, punching their stamp into the FCS playoffs. Scotty Walden, one of the top young head coaches in the game, and he's got my governors looking way up, B.
Well, between that and then I see you've been on the campus for the men's basketball too. I'll say, saw that boy CR3 was at the game with the famous alum Drake Reed. Y'all been outside, man.
We've been outside, man. CR3 like doing the ball boy thing. It's hard for me because it makes me have to go to every game every week. You know what I mean? But that's another story for another day. Now, I want to drop straight into this. I'm a football guy by trade, right? But if it's one thing that I must admit, in between covering college football, I love listening to drama. I find myself on social media, and the drama just draws me in. I'm a cheerleader for the foolishness. Okay. And so I'm going through TikTok, I'm minding my business, and my algorithm starts to shake, and I'm seeing that we got some smoke in Baton Rouge. We got some smoke. And it appears that Angel Reese mom and Flau'jae Johnson mom been going back and forth. Talk to me, Clay. Women's basketball is your area. What is going on in Baton Rouge? Is the honeymoon over?
Okay, so let me start with this, Reed. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. But in this case, it's a baby fire, man. It's like the fire in the backyard when it get a little cold outside. It's not California fire. It's not Smokey the Bear fire. We don't need no extinguishers. I think they're going to be able to get this one out internally. But you and I talked about this before the season got started. This is a professional basketball team in terms of what the top people on the roster are making. This is the first iteration of this in college basketball, right? It won't be the last, but it's definitely the first. And I think you're seeing that right now, even to Angel's mom and Flau'jae's mom. Everybody has a lot on the line, right? So everybody's maybe a little more dialed in than normal. I actually talked to a couple people yesterday, parents of current recruits. My own father called me. My dad don't give me 5 minutes. That man gave me 30 minutes. He was, hey, man, what's going on? And I think a lot of it stems from, like, it's not even Thanksgiving, Carl. College football's in full swing. Champions Classic just hits on the men's side, but we're talking and leading off the show today with Angel Reese and LSU. So I thought Kim Mulkey did a good job of, she's on the roster and kind of left it in the air. Hey, we're going to leave it right there right now. I don't have anything more to say. I'm not going to speak either direction and give this self a chance to work itself out through the holidays. But it's a lot of people, and again, Angel was gone with USA. She was at award shows. She was in music videos. She had the type of summer that if you're underneath the age of 35, you dream about having. She was all over the place. And so I think being able to just dial back in. One of my favorite Coach K isms was, he would talk to a guy that was getting ready to go pro early, Carlos Boozer, for example, in a book that he wrote years ago. I need you to drop your bags and put both feet in right here, right now. And when we get to March or April, we can go from there. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing. Everybody getting readjusted to each other. They didn't have a traditional summer by any means in terms of team workouts and all that stuff. And here we are, but I think it'll be fine.
I think the hardest thing right now, I think Kim Mulkey rather has one of the hardest jobs in America right now. And this is why. We've never had something like this in women's basketball. On the men's side, when you have a championship team, most of those guys just leave and go to the pros early. So there's no coming back. They're chasing their money. They're going to make their money if they play well. Even on the football side, those football guys know there's millions of dollars in front of them, and several of those guys will go. Now, the money in college sports has changed because women are making more money than they've ever made before. they're making more than they would probably make in the WNBA. And so now you have a team. It's a lot of egos there. My college coach told me this once, or it might have been my high school coach. I think it was my high school coach. He says anybody can win a championship. That's the easiest time when you're trying to win the first one because everybody, like you said, both feet in, everybody's chasing that ring. But when you get it and the awards start to come, a couple of people get named All Americans. Now the checks start rolling in, the appearance fees, and you getting that same group of people back together again. Different things are motivating you now than what has motivated you before. And so managing those egos, managing those expectations, managing the change in personalities, the change in positioning, the change in your bank account, that's a very tough job. And a lot of people think that you can get great players together and it's easy to coach great players. Coaching great players, man, is one of the hardest things to do in sports.
Well, and I'll follow up with this. I think you hit 2 points that are fantastic. Everybody's been up in arms lately when people say that they're making more than they make in the WNBA. I kind of want to touch that. I agree with what they're saying, right? Salary to salary. Well, yeah, the people on the top of the WNBA, by the time they get their salary, go overseas, their money's comparable if they don't make maybe more than Angel Reese, right? But for the rookies, and then you start talking about the local NIL deals, the Baton Rouge specific deals that are, the Mercedes-Benz she got, like all that stuff is specific to Baton Rouge. The minute she leaves, she has to go and reobtain those types of deals in the home city. And a lot of those proceeds are in much bigger markets where Angel Reese's name doesn't resonate quite the same as it does as the Bayou Barbie right now. So there's two sides to every story. There's some truth on both sides of it. But I think at least in today's day and age, until proven differently, if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and those folks can go pro here over the next couple of years, retain a lot of those in-city NIL level deals, plus their national deals, whether it's the Reeboks, the State Farms, the Nikes, the different things that they have collectively, then cool, I get that. But as of right now, the local deals, I think, are so big in your markets, Iowa City, Baton Rouge. It's going to be hard to replicate those in major cities. And I don't know that you're going to add another 3 to 5 national deals to your portfolio to help cover those up. And I think the second part too, Carl, that we need to touch on is the addition of Aneyas Williams, the addition of Haley Van Lith. Those are two people that collectively scored 45 points a night at their schools last year, 19 for Van Lith and right at 26 for Morrow at DePaul. So just even getting all of them adjusted. Everybody is a star. Flau'jae Johnson has 17 and 11 2 nights ago and is performing at a concert after she has a double-double. Like, I don't know anybody that's done that, right? I drop a double-double and then literally go perform the same night at a sold-out show. So to your point, it's just such a different dynamic. And nobody, including Kim Mulkey, for as great as she is and a Hall of Fame coach, has had to walk through this before. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But again, I think full faith that by the first of the year, this thing has kind of leveled itself out and they're just playing basketball down there.
And those are tough things. When you talk about the marketing, it's almost the same thing for football. I tell young recruits all the time, when you're trying to get NIL deals and secure money, I don't care where you're from, you actually stand a chance to make more money from your local regional-based deals that are huge supporters of the school that you're going to. Very few guys are going to get national deals. You got your Caleb Williams, who won the Heisman. You got your Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, his last name helps him a lot with the brand that his dad has built in terms of those kind of deals with him and Travis Hunter. You got a couple of guys. Bryce Young had some stuff. But the majority of guys are going to get their money based on the fan base and the businesses that are in the local community of the schools they play at. So I think that that's an important piece that you hit on.
Talk to us about that. I know you mentioned Caleb, you mentioned Shedeur. What are you seeing? Obviously, those are both situations kind of like LSU. Since you like the drama, there's plenty of drama in both of those scenarios too. So walk us through what you're seeing, what you're hearing from Lincoln Riley, Dion, in the streets around both of those.
Well, at USC, everybody's upset because going in, when you got the Heisman Trophy winner returning, and you got huge expectations. They started off the season, I think, 5-0, and the bottom is kind of fell out because how long can you hold on to the defense? The defense has been an Achilles heel, And Lincoln Riley has been so good offensively from a scoring standpoint. He's always found a way to just outscore people. But what happens now when you're talking about the NIL and transfer portal, you have the thinning out of a roster. So it's tougher to stockpile talent. It's tougher to keep yourself surrounded with elite guys. So you have to be able to play a little more complementary football. He has a huge hire in front of him that he has to make with the defensive coordinator. And this is a situation that I don't think you can get wrong. If it's me, a guy, I've looked through all of the names and we talk about defensive coordinators. USC is going into the Big Ten. I think a guy that's out there that you have to try to get is Jim Leonard, who was the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. He's out of it this year in terms of college. I think he's doing some analyst stuff in the NFL, but he's a guy who's proven that in the Big Ten, where you're going to see such a melting pot of offenses. You're going to see 10 personnel. You're going to see with air raid stuff. You're going to see some pro style stuff. You're going to play some teams that are going to play with 2 and 3 tight ends. And he has the ability and has proven consistently that he has defenses that can shut those offenses down. I would start my search there. But USC has the resources to go get anybody that they want. Coach Riley, I'm sure, is talking to some very interesting guys. And I think he's going to make a good hire, and he'll be right back on track for what they need him to do at USC. Now, you also asked me about Colorado. Well, get in line because everybody asks me about Colorado every single week. What is Coach Prime thinking? What is going on? I could tell you what Coach Prime is thinking. He's thinking just wait. Just sit there and wait. Get all your shots off at me now. Throw all your bullets, all your bow and arrows, take your shots at me now. But I'm coming. He's still coming. He has an unrelenting belief in what he's doing and the way that he's going about it. He's got some very, very intriguing recruits coming in and knows that they have to rebuild. Well, I can't even say rebuild. They have to completely build from the ground up the offense and defensive line because that's what they're missing to be able to compete at that type of level.
No, when you hit it, I remember us talking, back at the beginning of the season. Hey, Carl, what are you thinking? You had been on campus, kind of want to get your take on what you saw, and you say, hey, B, anywhere from 4 wins to potentially bowl eligible in large part because the line just isn't going to have the depth it takes to hold up through what is a treacherous season, right? The Pac-12 is the most competitive conference in college football, which is wild when you look at the fact that the conference is coming to an end abruptly at that, right? And they had arguably the best year in conference history down to the Washington-Oregon State game last night, which I had a chance to watch. And it just, if you're not physical and deep up front on either side, it could be Penix, it could be DJ, it could be anybody. They're going to out-throw you. And then to your point about, USC on the other side, you can't get a pass rush. You can't get a touch on them. The quarterback just going to eat you alive, man. So now, great points on Dion. Here's a bonus question I got for you. If you're Lincoln Riley, given the success around you on campus right now, Lindsey Gottlieb, Lance Juju Watkins, on the men's side with basketball, infield and them, got Bronny James, Isaiah Collier. How do you upgrade the defensive personnel in addition to whoever you hire? What do you do?
Number one, you got to start with recruiting. But number two, you have to recruiting now is NIL based. There's so many recruits that I talk to every week that like a particular school, but they choose to go another direction because of the NIL money. You have to get into your war chest and your bag with your NIL money. Number one, from your collective, but your collective is going to be limited. You also, being in LA, you must build relationships with the people who can help you facilitate funds for the big time recruits you need. Yep. And those recruits are first round caliber athletes on the skill positions and on the lines and really across the board. You're going to win with guys that are going to play in the National Football League. To go and win national championships in college football, all of those guys have anywhere between 15 to 30 guys, NFL draft picks every single year for guys that are winning the national championship. So it's more talent acquisition than it is anything else.
That makes complete sense. As a Georgia Bulldog fan, I got to throw in that we usually have that type of talent, Carl.
Well, let's say recently. You can say usually. It is your guys' time right now. But I will tell you this: the Missouri Tigers are knocking on the door, and you better be. Hey, they're knocking, and they gotta. Hey, just be patient. But that's not on. That's not what we're talking about today. I'm gonna throw another fastball. I'm gonna throw this straight down the middle. I'm not even gonna curve you. We talked about LSU at the top of the hour. Caitlin Clark in Iowa dropped one to K-State, and I don't think anybody expected that. What's going on in Iowa?
Okay, so the coolest thing about basketball right now in totality as I work to Clark here is that unlike years before, where we talk this week is Champions Classic, right? Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Michigan State on the men's side, Tuesday night. Ain't nobody hit my line with a peep. Everybody wants to know what's wrong with Caitlin Clark. Why did she go 3 for 16? Why was she missing shots? Because she's human. the same joker that's been triple-doubling every night. 35 outdoors in 50-degree weather 3 weeks ago to get the season started against DePaul. National Player of the Year, Naismith Trophy winner. Like, it's okay. She's going to have a couple of games where it just ain't clicking, and this was one of them. And unfortunately for her, Kansas State's got a player in Ioka Lee who sat out last year with an injury, but she's a top 15 player in the country and potentially a first-round WNBA draft pick. Legit size, legit presence. She's a double-double machine in and of herself, 20 and 10 almost every time she steps on the floor. And I was in a different position than last year, right? Last year they had some interior help for her. Monica graduated. They had a little bit bigger size on the wing, or McKenna Warnock now has graduated. And so, it's really on Kate's shoulders now. It was always there, but it's really there now. And if she has a night like she had the other night, and they play a top 25 caliber team, which Kansas State is, they could lose at any moment. And LSU is not any different. Colorado was a ranked team, right? Kansas State has ranked caliber talent. When that happens, it just is what it is, man. But the thing that I love about Caitlin Clark is that joker kept shooting. Man, Buffett, I know I'm off, but I know if I don't take these chances, we're going to lose anyway. And that's the mindset that you want to see from your star guard. And if she has 4 games in a row like that, okay, sound the bell, ring the alarm. We need a little help. But one game, man, again, we ain't even have Thanksgiving turkey yet. I ain't worried about Caitlin Clark. She's going to be just fine.
You said she's human. I don't know, man. I saw in the NCAA tournament. Like you the first person who has claimed that she's a human being.
I think if we needed a reminder, it was the Kansas State game is the first time in probably in 2 seasons that she's played like that. And again, much like Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, those guys don't have very many off nights, right? So to see her have an off night by Kate Clark standards, I just remind you that every now and again, she might not hit every shot she takes. She does miss a couple, and that's okay.
I would have thought before I saw the Kansas State game, the only thing that could have stopped it is Draymond Green putting in their head like he did Rudy Gobert.
Yo, that was a disgusting act of work, boy. He wasted no time. Hey, he choked Rudy like Rudy was trying to steal his food on Thursday, man.
Yeah, it was bad business. Bad business. We won't go much deeper than that on that. It's bad business.
Hey, talk to me about you were at a high school game on Friday night. You gave me what I thought was a stupendous report. I need you to share that with the people. What you got for us, man?
So I went and watched Lutheran North play. Everybody that knows me knows the way I feel about Lutheran North. I used to be the head football coach there. My guy, Kyle Wagner, who was one of my assistants, has taken over the program and has kept it at an upper trajectory. And he's taken it even to another level than I had taken it to, which is what we always expect for whoever gets put in that seat. Loaded team, lots of prospects, state quarterfinal game. Got the win, which is always important because we must win on Lucas and Hunt at Lutheran North High School. Now, that being said, I saw maybe one of the most incredible performances that I've ever seen by a young man on the other team, Aneyas Williams, running back, Hannibal High School, 4-star, committed to Notre Dame. He had 330, 8 touchdowns. I mean, just an unbelievable performance. I know the people in the state of Missouri heart is broken that he's going to Notre Dame and that he's not going to Mizzou, but this was a special, special performance. one of the best that I've ever personally seen. And I've been watching great players for a long time. I played against them. I played with them, coached against them. I've coached All-Americans, coached against them. What he did Friday night is something that was superhuman. He individually gave his team a chance to win. And I'm going to tell you what, if his coach would have let him touch it 10 more times, we might be having a different conversation. He took the ball out of his hands a little bit. I didn't understand that part of it, but I was happy that he did because my Crusaders got to advance. But just a special performance. He made a one-hand catch on the sideline that should have been on Sports Center, top plays. Just an unbelievable performance. I have a lot of respect for the guy. It was my first time seeing him in person. Obviously, I had seen the film before. And when guys are playing in small towns, you say, yeah, he's really good, but he's not playing nobody. Wait till he plays a team like Lutheran North. He's not going to do all that against them. Well, Clay, I was there, and he did it. He has my respect. I expect for him to go into school and play right away as a freshman. Would be really surprised if he didn't. This kid is big time.
Well, coming off the heels of that, before that, he had 4 touchdowns the week before. You mentioned the name to me. I'm going to go do my research and my work, man. Marcus Freeman's getting a good one. You look at what, again, they've done up there in South Bend, and obviously tough stretch in the middle of the season, 4 straight ranked opponents. Marcus is able to kind of go 2-2, win the games he's supposed to win on the front side, win the games he's supposed to win on the back side, and Notre Dame, large part to Sam Hartman, but Estime in the backfield. Like, there are going to be some guys that are walking out the door that give Williams an opportunity to step right in and be able to play next year if he's able to keep up this production. We very well could be talking about him 12 months from now being one of the best freshman running backs in the country.
And I'm going to tell you this before we get out of here. The last thing I'm going to say before I leave, my guy Kyle Wagner knocking on the door of his first state championship as a head coach. All right, he has 3 special players himself: quarterback Dakari Hollis, wide receiver Trey Bass, linebacker Carvon Jefferson, and all of those kids are 2025. Lutheran North only has 6 seniors. So it's going to be a very special time, Clay, on Lucas and Hunt for a long time, because I saw the freshmen when I was there. I saw the 8th graders that were coming in, and it's like our motto over there always was: we don't die, we multiply. And it's scary hours.
They must have been playing that new Drake with the scary hours, man. We love
Scary,
that, man. Hey, if you're Drizzy, then I'm cold, man. We about to go on tour.
Hey, no doubt. B, we out. That's what we got for the people for Monday, and we'll be back here recapping all the wild stuff that goes on next week.